Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Peace. Welcome to another video. I got second place, X1, at locals today, and it was Drytron, 55 cards. I cut 5 cards at the last second. It would have been 60, but I cut some cards for consistency. So we need to play a lot of names. So 3 alpha, 3 zeta, 3 gamma, 3 delta, and 1 beta. So that's the suite of the Drytrons. 13 it should be. Next up, we did add the Megalith package. So 2 full and an Ophiel in the main deck. Then for the Cyber Angel package, Natasha, Editon, and then triple Ben 10. Thank you, Konami, for bringing this back. Also, in order to negate all of our opponent's effects, we play a Herald of Perfection as well. Last year, Ritual Monsters, we play Magician of Black Chaos Max, which is essentially an Azathoth on your opponent's turn.
How often did the Chaos come up this game?
This came up at least 3 times in the tournament today, where my opponent was unable to activate any monster effects, and they just flat out lost.
And I remember you're kind of fine-tuning the Megalith engine. How consistent was that for the Dex engine?
It's really nice. It gives you opportunity to play through awkward hands, since Megalith Fool can change its level to 6, which can help you make Beatrice. Also, you can summon your Ophiel from deck, which can let you ritual summon from your hand in addition to that. So it just lets you extend, and it's just a really nice small package. And I do have a side deck card that supplements that, and I'll talk about it briefly when I get there as well.
For sure.
And then finally, we do play the Drytron Medionis Draconids, the big chicken. You gotta play the big chicken. All right, so next up is just the fairy monsters. You have the Herald of Orange Light. It's a nice negate. Sometimes you search it. Diviner of the Herald, which is cool. Crystal Beast, Ruby Carbuncle. I just like having extra weird random fairies. Artifact Lancia, and then Choju of the Trillion Hands. This makes what is it called? This makes Herald of Perfection very easy to make. It's so awesome. So glad that they made that card.
Probably one of the best new extenders in the deck.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then there's something in the extra deck that's brand new from Photon Hypernova as well. Shoutouts to Konami. 2 Nib, 2 Ash, 2 Droll. So these are each, what's it called? Crossout Designator targets. I actually was playing 3 of each of these, but at the last second I cut them all down to 2 in addition to the Imperm and the Crossout because I was breaking a little bit. But 8 total hand traps in the main.
What about the Imperms?
Yeah, Imperms are, I put those with the draft cards. So yeah, that's, well, unless you count Lancia and Orange Light as other hand traps, then it's technically 10 in 55. So you'll never see your hand traps. Unless it matters, because I drilled people today like it was my job. 3 Cyber Emergency, 2 Nova, 2 Fafnir to search, and then I recently added the Ritual Sanctuary. It just gives you another fairy, essentially, by discarding a spell. Speaking of spells, we've got the Drytron Medionis and then the Dawn of the Herald. So you can Ritual Summon your Herald of Perfection and then plus off of it. Next, this is basically Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. You get to add any level 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck. That's like Fool or Ben 10 or anything you need. And you get to add a ritual spell from your graveyard, so you get an extra ritual summon that turn. Next, I only own 1 Prosperity, so there she is. Next up, we got Called by the Grave, the 2 Crossout Designator, so as my defensive cards.
Would you potentially bump the Crossout to 3?
This was one of the 5 cards that I cut last second to 2, because I was playing 3 Crossout, 3 Imperm, 3 Droll, 3 Ash, and 3 Nib, and I cut 1 of each of those to bring my deck count from 60 to 55.
So just make it mostly.
I didn't see a lot of hand traps today. I was expecting to see a lot more hand traps. I didn't see a lot of hand traps. It was just people's engine, basically. And then Montoya Veilered me, so it's just like, I don't have Veiler, so it never mattered. The double Imperm, and then the Carbuncle makes a little bit more sense now. The Rainbow Bridge of Salvation is amazing. You send this off of Beatrice, you banish it, you search the Carbuncle, which is a fairy that you can use for perfection, in addition to searching either your Drytron field spell to get another body on board, or your Ritual Sanctuary, which adds another fairy to your hand, which is another negate. So essentially it makes Beatrice adding 2 negates to your Herald of Perfection just by playing that card. Next up, extra deck, Nib Token for when we nib people, Intis and Herald of Arclight, Triple Mu Beta Fafnir, I always go through 3, Downward Magician, Beatrice, and Ultimate Rare Zeus.
I've seen some people with their Drytron list, they only run the 2 Fafnir, and then they just burn right through them when people just, kind of start to eat them up with something like a Chimera, and then they just have no follow-up past that.
Exactly. I play poorly, so I absolutely need 3.
Oh, just marking there. Yeah, I gotcha.
Next up, Link Karibo. This is for Nova. Otherwise, you're unable to play in certain hands. I did add an IP target, so my IP does something actually. Phoenix for going second into back row. 2 Dynamondo. This is the other new card from Photon Hypernova. This allows you to summon a ritual monster that was properly ritual summoned from your graveyard during your opponent's turn as a quick effect. So during your draw phase, you tribute this off, and you summon out
the Chaos, right?
Chaos Max. Then you tribute a monster on field, and your opponent cannot activate monster effects during that turn. And essentially, they lose because all your Drytrons are Dragon Rulers. So they just bring themselves back, and you OTK your opponent with Boral Sword. And then you got your Apollosa, which is just another target for IP. Or if you need to insulate your combo and you don't have Herald of Perfection up, you can also summon that.
And then what about the side deck?
Side deck. The spicy side deck. So I don't have enough sleeves for this, so I literally was like switching sleeves. So Zeus, the second copy of Zeus was just for the off chance that I was facing Kashtira, because talents or change of heart into the Kashtira board is absolutely game, because you get to Zeus their entire board, but they do rip it out of your extra deck with their what's that card called? Diabolisis, yes, Diabolisis, thank you. All right, Lava Golem. This is just for decks that I think just would put up like too much for me to deal with, so I just flop Lava Golem on top of. So Megalith Bethor is the Megalith card I was referring to earlier when I was talking about Fool. So Fool can let you quick effect ritual summon from your deck or hand. So if this is in your deck, you can use Fool to tribute itself and another card to summon out Bethor from your hand or deck, and it pops cards on your opponent's field up to the number of different named ritual monsters in your graveyard. So usually when you go through your combo, you're gonna have at least 4. So during my opponent's end phase, I actually at the end of their main phase 1, I activated the full effect, special summon this out, and I was able to pop their entire field, which is really nice. But yeah, so you only kind of want to put this going first.
Now, for the Lava Golem and the Zeus, well, I mean, the Lava Golem specifically, for your board breaker, are you afraid of, stuff like, let's say, Gimmick Puppet or stuff like Ibly on your turn? Like, does that hurt you at all? Or do you just go into, like, the
I accept that I will, that's what the hand traps are for. I accept that I will die if I get Gimmick Puppet locked. I don't have an out to that. Not that there's many outs to that, honestly. I just hope to draw either the Droll or the Ash or something like that.
And the Zeus is just kind of a secondary win con in some matchups.
Yes, the Zeus is specifically for Kashtira, but I didn't face any, so it did not go in today. And I have an ulti, but I didn't want to just have my ulti unsleeved.
Of course.
Next up is the Magic Key Battles Buster. So this sets up the counter trap to like help play around Dark Ruler and Evenly and all that stuff. Next up, Harpy's Feather Duster. This is the only back row removal card that I played, and I was kind of scared throughout the tournament to face like a back row deck, but luckily I didn't face any, besides Flu, I guess, but I was able to knock them out with Droll and Lockbird. Change of Heart and the talents for the aforementioned Zeus line. Tripled Forbidden Droplet. Droplet is insane in Drytron because your cost is basically free because you use the graveyard and whatnot, and you put a lot of cards on field. And then finally, the Magic Key Unlocking that you search off the Battles Buster, which negates any spell and trap, which is really powerful, and it's a counter trap.
I mean, the Pocket Droplet's got to be insane with how much recursion you have, too.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So that was the profile. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.